easier to find, Lonzo. I took one day off. I forgot how the world works. So anyway, the stream's up live now.
So that's fine. That's fine. So what you're saying is it wasn't me.
No,
it wasn't me.
Listen, I am having a run the last few days. Let me just tell you what happened so that I can get it over with. So that you guys can have your fun on the text line. Everybody can yuck it up. Yesterday evening, the reason I was off yesterday is the Madre and the little brother are in town. The reason that they are in town is that yesterday evening, the Eagles, yes, the Eagles, played a concert at the Wellness Arena downtown.
Do you remember the concert?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Okay, I'm just
I'm
checking.
Good. So the Eagles were my old man's favorite band. And yesterday, 12 years ago to the day, was the day my father passed away from cancer, right? So it just seemed very fitting when they made the announcement that the Eagles were playing the Well, that it happened to be on the anniversary of my father's passing. So the lady friend and I were like, yo, call up the mom, call up the little brother, let's make this thing happen. So they flew up here to go watch the Eagles play. So we go to the concert. We get parked in the parking garage that's right next to the well. And as you know, the big stairs, Lonzo, that come out of the parking garage that lead down to the patio, the terrace outside of the well.
Yes, I did.
All right. So we're coming down those stairs. And I'll lead this part off by saying 36 years of my life, if there was a rail, like a handrail, next to a staircase, Rob Brown would jump up on it, put his butt on it, and rail surf it down to the bottom. 35 years of my life, I've been doing that, right? Never had an issue with it. You jump up, you keep the feet back and under you, you keep the back lean forward to keep that center of gravity over the pole, you surf the pole down to the bottom. When you get by, you twist the hips so you land in a running motion, and then you slow down. 35 years of my life, I've slid down every rail connected to every stair. I have done 100-foot rails. Never had an issue with my life, with that in my life. For some reason yesterday, about 5 feet before the end of the rail, your boy just lost it and went over backwards, ass over elbows, and landed directly on the back of my head. I mean, crash. I felt myself going down, Zoe. So I kind of started to twist around, like trying to get turned around so that I could catch myself. Did not make it in time. So my brother told me, because I don't remember the landing, the brother tells me I hit the shoulder, the head conks, I go to sleep. I got Mike Tyson right there on the stairs. He said you were at about 10, 12 seconds. And then he came to. And when I came to, I was fine. I'm like, yo, what am I doing on the ground? They're like, bro, you fell off the railing. I was like, no, I didn't. What happened? He said, yeah, you fell off the railing, you hit your head, you went to sleep for a second. I said, I'm back. The cop came over. He's like, bro, are you good? I said, yeah, man, I'm good. I just, apparently knocked the old noggin. He's like, no, I saw, dude. I saw it. It was not good. Are you okay? And at this point, I'm sitting up. I'm like, fine. Can we go into the concert? I did not come here to be looked at on the stairs. Can we go into the concert? And of course,
you know what would have been worse if the cop went over and said, hey, man, are you Rob Brown?
Yeah, right. Yeah, good thing I didn't wear the new polo with the first name on it. So he rolls over. He's like, are you good? I said, yeah, I'm good. He's like, can you stand up? I'm like, yeah, man. I stand up. So I stood up. I'm walking fine. And there was nothing wrong with me, but I am hurting today. The back, the shoulders are hurting. As Zach said in the Facebook chat, because we are old, Rob. Yeah, I'm feeling every bit of it. As I told the lady friend to end the evening yesterday, I believe that was Rob's last guardrail slide.
As someone who's taken a few spills down the stairs as of late, thanks to moss and things like that out in the woods, I feel you. But the most important thing is to keep your head up. And unfortunately, you didn't have that opportunity.
No, the bumps and knots in the back of the dome are evidence of that.
Your hat looks a little loose.
I had to wear the big hat today.
Yeah.
I had to wear. I could not wear the super tight fitted hats today. Had to go with the loose hat. All right, so that's what happened to me. For the 6 of you that care, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm alive. I remember the concert. Thank you, Lonzo.
Concussions are real, dude. That's not just
aware. That's what my little brother was worried about.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, you are you gonna get through? We can go home. I'm like, I'm not missing the Eagles. He's like, well, if you start to fall asleep, I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Or if you started to feel nauseous, there are a lot of symptoms. Yeah.
But never did. Felt fine, and then got in. They opened with Hotel California.
Get that out of the way.
Hotel California.
Just get that out of the way.
Like, if we play this now, people won't chant it at us for the night. They played for probably a good 3 hours, 20 minutes with one 5-ish minute break in the middle. Yeah.
I mean, the library's huge.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's what the guy behind me would get done, and he's like, oh, they didn't play what song did they play? Anyway, Take It to the Limit. They didn't play Take It to the Limit, which I guess was the song this guy wanted to hear. And he's like, they didn't play Take It to the Limit. I'm like, dude, I could write down 20 songs that I know by heart they didn't play. Played 3 hours and 20 minutes and still did not get to everything. Of course, they've been putting stuff on the radio since 1972. The catalog's not exactly small. Either way, the Eagles were awesome. Of course they were. That's the one thing the Big Lebowski got wrong, man. Big Lebowski, the dude abides with one exception. The Eagles are good.
Yeah, I never saw that movie. So, it's a stoner movie. I know there's bowling in it, but it's still a stoner movie.
It is not.
How is it not a stoner movie?
How is it?
All the references are stoner references.
Oh, you're thinking of a different movie.
No, I'm not.
They are. Stoner movie is like
Half-Baked or something like
which
that.
is also a great movie.
And never saw it because it's a stoner movie.
Big Lebowski's not a stoner movie at all. It's a I don't even know how to describe it. It's a cult classic. It's amazing. Keegan apparently went to the Willie Nelson show. He said Willie Nelson barely played an hour, but he's 89, so understandable.
I was going to say that's pretty good for his age.
Bro, at the rate I'm going where I can't even get downstairs successfully, if I make it to 89, I'll be blown away.
If you need help later, I'll give you a shoulder or
I
something.
don't need help anymore. I just know that riding the handguard down the bottom of the stairs is not an option for me. 35 years, been absolutely fine sliding down handrails. The girlfriend's seen me do it 150 times since we got together at the well. And just for some reason last night, my balance was like, nope, you're not 27 anymore, pal.
Yeah, but now she's going to see you lying and she's going to Rob and just shake her head.
Yeah.
Like, don't do it.
She said, if I see you do that again, you are single. Do you understand? Yes, ma'am. Yes, I do.
I have a couple questions about the concert, though. So we know that Glenn Fry is no longer with us.
Correct.
And so how did that go? The replacements in the band, could you tell?
Well, so his son Deacon Fry had joined the band, but he was not there last night. And I don't know if he's not in the band anymore or he just was not there last night. But they've added Vince Gill to the lineup, and Vince was fantastic.
But does it become a Vince Gill song? Because everyone knows, well, not everyone, but a lot of people know how good of a singer Vince Gill actually is. So
I would say, I mean, he took over the songs that Glenn Fry sang, obviously. Those are now songs that he sings. But I don't
is Vince Gill still plump?
I mean, he looks like me. Answer that as you will. So yes-ish. Yes, but he carries it well.
Okay,
whatever you want to call it. I would say no. He did not make the Glenn Fry songs that he sings into Vince Gill songs. He sounds like Vince Gill, but he sang it like the songs were performed by Glenn Fry of the Eagles. There was one part, though. They played Funk 49, which is a Joe Walsh song, right? They played Funk 49. Joe Walsh was out there playing, and they get to the middle, which is where Walsh ordinarily just opens up, right? And over walks Vince Gill, and he and Joe Walsh get into a guitar battle. And Vince does really well. Really well. Joe would lay a phrase down for a couple of measures. Vince would too. And I expected Vince to have a very, country, twang. He did not. He
Didn't he
opened
play guitar for? I think it was Pure Prairie
League.
League.
Yeah. What you want to do?
Yeah,
I
so-
think I can stay with you for a while, maybe longer. If I do longer, if I do. Yes, Vince Gill.
All right, so I don't know if you noticed, but I'm testing the cognitive and all that kind of stuff with Rob here. And he's dropping lyrics and stuff, so he might be all right.
Texture says, fan, Rob needs to take it easy because he knows, it sounds like he knows how to take it to the limit. All right, Eagles puns. I get it. I'm good. The brain's working.
All right, best song of the night. Can you narrow it down to best song of the night?
No.
Okay. I didn't think you could, but I thought I'd ask you.
It would depend on what you meant. Like, song that I popped off at the most. I mean, they opened with Hotel California. That was the opener. That's the lead off.
You know, what a confident move.
Well,
When you open with that, you're saying, this is the song we're opening with. The rest are going to be
well,
better.
what they did was they did 2 sets. And in the first set was the Hotel California album, right? They just played the album. In fact, the show opened with this dude dressed as the Nightman from the Hotel California coming out and putting the record down, and they put the needle down, and it started with that record sound, you know, the vinyl, and then the first couple of acoustic notes started, and the curtain dropped, and there the Eagles playing Hotel California.
All I could think of is maybe was the Nightman standing at the bottom of that rail.
Maybe the good night, man. So then they got halfway through, and then had a girl come out. Her mom was Tiffany Twisted. She had the Mercedes-Benz, and she came out and flipped the album. They played the back half, and that was interesting because the B side of the Hotel California album is not exceptionally well known, right? Like there's a couple of good tunes on it, but it's not an exceptionally well known B side. So that was probably the quietest part of the show because not everybody knew, but. They came back and they opened the second set with Seven Bridges Road, which
I'm just imagining Vince Gill in there with the harmony on Seven Bridges Road because that is such an amazing song for harmony.
It's you can't do it without that, right? Can't do that without that. So they absolutely killed it. Then they went straight into Life in the Fast Lane, which, you know, as songs go, that's a great one. That's a great one. I thought Vince Gill did well. Joe Walsh still blanking got it. Every time they let Joe Walsh pipe off, he went bananas. He came out and he said, I had to tell you folks, it was a lot more fun being 20 in the 70s than being 70 in the 20s. And the place lost it.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, he nailed it. All right, ladies.
How long did it take him to say that, though?
Oh, old Joe. He's got the crowd. He's like, you know the iconic Freddie Mercury at Wembley for the charity concert when he's like,
Live Aid, yeah,
Live Aid, and he gets the crowd to really, ayo, and the crowd responds to him. Joe did that, but he was like, let me hear you sing, woo, yeah. The crowd's doing it, and I'm like, oh, Joe, that's why they put you on guitar, fella. That's why you had to go off on a solo career to sing. But he did Funk 49. He did Rocky Mountain Way. Don Henley did Boys of Summer, which was great. And Vince played guitar on all of them and killed it. It's the Eagles, man. There is a reason they have been in the mainstream since 1972 and can still sell out arenas every single year. There's a reason. All right, yes, we do talk a lot of music here on the show. Prepare yourselves. Let's take a break. When we come back, one sweep of Brooklyn. The Nets are That's a Beastie Boys reference. That's a Beastie Boys reference because they had song No Sleep Till Brooklyn, but I said one sweep of You get it. You get it. The Brooklyn Nets are out, and they had some, oh, really? Comments last night I want to talk about. Plus the rest of your NBA scores and more. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. It's Tuesday. It's the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate.
Prisma, sorry.
Lane. ladies and gentlemen, let's tell you about my friends at Prisma Health right here in the upstate with locations everywhere. Locations scattered all around the upstate, ladies and gentlemen. So whenever you find yourself with a medical need, Prisma Health is nearby. Plus, they have got the most knowledgeable healthcare professionals in the game. They have got a lot of them. So you can find the doctor or healthcare provider that is right for you, that communicates well with you, that you trust with the health of you and your family.
So I talked about Saturday, how the look on your face when I hit those three in a row. When I hit those three in a row, and I was like, I just looked sideways, and that's what I mentioned Saturday. Is like, for a moment,
I thought I was getting
Rob thought he was getting
I
sharked.
thought I was getting hustled. We gotta talk about it. We'll bring that up later in the show. I genuinely thought I was getting hustled.
Yeah, I saw the expression on your face, and I'm like,
when the third one went in, I'm like, are you serious? And the fourth one was close.
Yeah, I found my spot, and then my shoulder started acting up, and I lost it. This is a game I think I could probably be pretty good at if I practiced. You're smiling, but next time we play, my wife has already said, well, why don't we buy one? We got a spot for it in the bag.
It's a fun game, and you can walk outside, and you can play a game in 10 minutes and kill some time.
Especially if you just go out and hit 7 aces in a row and then just walk back in the house. What if that's ever been done?
4? Yeah. The Cornhole Championships, if you ever watch them, the reason it takes them so long to get to 21 isn't because they're not good. It's because these guys are scoring like, this team will have like 10 points and this team will have 9. And then it's a 1 point. So they're gaining points one at a time, but by going 10 and 9 each round, whereas we're genuinely just scoring a point every round. There will be no gymnasium for me today. The Rob Brown Show on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. I am Rob. He is Lonzo. Together, we are the cast and crew of the Star Award-winning Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. I ordinarily would wait until later on in the show to do this, but I can't. I love it too much. I've got to get to it now. Lonzo, if you don't mind, we're going to get some sound in here. I believe it is going to be 2B. It is Kyle Schwarber at the plate. Now, this happened on Sunday evening. It is going to be clip 2B. I'm sure you found it already because you're the GOAT producer. Clip 2B. Kyle Schwarber is at the dish. He is sitting on a 3-2 count with one on and the game hanging in the balance. Angel Hernandez is behind the plate. A clear and evident pitch outside of the zone is called a strike. Schwarber loses his mind, and it sounds like this.
Here it comes. Called strike 3, and Schwarber is thrown out of the game, and he had zero issue with getting thrown out. Making it very clear, you've missed him inside, outside, up and down. Kyle Schwarber thrown out after being punched out by Angel Hernandez, and Joe may go too. Now, Schwarber is speaking for both sides tonight. We saw a lot of those demonstrations, none like that. But we certainly saw them as the players were going back to the bench.
Schwarber, as he's preparing to take the walk down to first, realizes that Angel Hernandez has called about his 19th incorrect pitch of the night. 19 times. He was wrong, and not particularly close. Schwarber turns around, bangs his helmet into the ground, throws his bat into the ground, gets up to Angel Hernandez's face, and starts unloading with a tirade that had me listening very closely to that audio to make sure they didn't accidentally pick it up. Because Schwarbs was dropping the F-bomb like he was getting paid for it on Angel Hernandez. But here's the thing. Just about everybody had his back. Just about everybody had his back. Let me get clip number 2A. This is from the MLB Network. This is from MLB Central. This is from a cast of dudes and dudettes who are paid by the league to talk baseball on their television network, which means they have a vested interest in, not taking off MLB. Here's the crew of MLB Central minutes after that ejection took place.
Either two things are happening. He is trying his best, and he's just not, and he's missing some calls, or he's deliberately trolling us. I mean, I don't
Lauren,
understand.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Deliberately troll. Really?
I mean, come on, you're watching the game. They're putting up the box every night. You know you're being judged, and he doesn't seem to adjust any bit of his strike zone since he first broke into it.
Why would that?
I don't
You
understand.
can't have guys reacting like this. He's saying you're giving up, down, in, out. Both sides, 1-0 game. Eric Lauer,
Cliff,
13 punch.
Cliff, the home plate umpire can't be the #1 trending topic on Twitter on Sunday Night Baseball. It just can't happen.
It's about the players. And I will say this. When there's no repercussions, to your point, you just keep going out there. There's no repercussions. Does he get sent down ever?
No.
Have you ever heard he got fined? I mean, you talked about the opening of the show. He missed six calls.
Yeah.
I mean, this is my livelihood. I get a shot at the title. I'm trying to come through. Schwarber, that's a leadoff walk against one of the toughest lefties closers in the sport. And that's a ball. You get to first base. You possibly could rattle Josh Hader. I mean, that's what you're trying to do is 1-0 game. You have to, just as much as we're dialing in and digging in and getting after it, he has to dial in and get after it just as much. And it's unfortunate because when you see, you know what, the telling part of last night was when you see they panned out to Andrew McCutchen in outfield. And he's like, he wasn't saying, shame on you, Kyle. He was going, this is pitiful. This is
a good snap.
This is a good.
McCutchen was playing center field for the Brew Crew. And when they showed him in the outfield after the Schwarber ejection, as was pointed out by the crew of MLB Central there, he was genuinely like, nah, this is ridiculous. He was not blasting Kyle. He was, you could tell what he was talking about. Girardi came out, went out to the hill after his player got ejected, and you could lip read him saying to Angel Hernandez, you've got to do better, Angel. I'm sorry, you've got to do better. Schwarber, after getting tossed, stood over the plate, Lonzo, in what was my favorite ejection in a while, and he said, you're missing him over here. You're missing him over here. You're missing him up here, like acting out where the calls were being missed. And then he said, and you're missing him for them, and for them, it's bullboat.
By the way, I saw it. So
amazing.
I mean, it was everywhere. So there's no way you could not see it. So yeah, very animated and justifiably so.
Amazing. But we're not done, because the best take of them all came from Rich Eisen yesterday on the Rich Eisen podcast, when Rich went ballistic on Angel Hernandez and said this.
If there's any way, shape, or form that we can avoid any nationally televised game having this man as an umpire, you've got to do it. Whether it's, hey, the crew chief or whomever, I don't even know if he's a crew chief. He's been around forever. Again, like a Supreme Court justice, you can't get these guys out. So if there's any way, you got to say, we can't, Angel, we can't have you on nationally televised game. We just can't. We can't have you doing your Angel Hernandez thing in front of the entire country. We just simply can't. Where at the very least, and if he says no, then you do what I guess they did in Baltimore all those years ago when the Mariners and the Orioles were playing. Just create a blackout. Okay? Get the actor Robert Davi from Die Hard and saying you lose the grid or you lose your job. Cut the power to the stadium. Because this guy ain't it. And with his crazy-ass, stupid strike zone, not only does it give the fans at home the general sense of that he doesn't care, but baseball doesn't care, to discipline somebody who's so clearly awful at doing the job that you just don't care. You're going to put him in front of the whole country. I don't care. Angel, you do your thing. That not only does that give the sense to the fans that you can't fight City Hall and City Hall's asleep at the switch, but it affects the product.
Love Rich Eisen. Love Rich Eisen. And that's my biggest takeaway, right? When you have a guy like Angel Hernandez continuing to keep his job, and I know it's a union thing. Before you blast off the hot take to the Preferred Home Service text line at 71307 that unions are bad, I know this is a union thing.
Can't you send them down? I mean, they do that to baseball players when they need some rehab or they've lost a little bit, they send them down. Can you send him down to the minors?
I suspect not, because I suspect if that was a possibility, that at some point Major League Baseball would have gone to the Players Association, scratch that, Umpires Association, and said, yo, we cannot do this anymore. We can't do this anymore. This guy is officially bad, like officially bad, and he's embarrassing us because he is. He's embarrassing us. He's embarrassing himself. And until you guys get it corrected, he can't be on the highest level anymore because you have outbursts like that. What did that guy from MLB Central say? It is Sunday Night Baseball. This is supposed to be baseball's biggest game of the week, right? Like, if they're going to have a night to show out, if they are going to have a night where they expect to be able to get ratings and tell their TV advertisers, hey, look, this is our night. This is our spot. The boys came to play. The folks are watching on TV. Put some money into this one. It's Sunday Night Baseball. And what happened? In the biggest moment, in what was otherwise a tremendous baseball game, tremendous game, 1-0, got a good pitcher's duel going. You got your closers out there bringing heat. A good game. In the biggest moment, Angel Hernandez once again makes it about him. And I'm not saying he's doing it on purpose, but I'm not saying that. It's so bad that dude on MLB Network, remember, these are people getting paid by Major League Baseball to talk about Major League Baseball on MLB Network. Old boy said he is either trying his best and failing miserably, or he is doing this on purpose. And either one of those possibilities is bad. But when I pop on Twitter on Sunday Night Baseball, you know what I should see trending? Kyle Schwarber, Josh Hader, Andrew McCutchen, Bryce Harper. Anybody from either one of those teams should be trending. You know who should not be trending? The freaking umpire. When I got on the phone Sunday night, little brother, the mom were in town, so I'm spending time with them, and I'm like, let me pop on Twitter and see what I'm missing. And I open it up, and the first thing I see is Angel Hernandez is trending. And the first tweet response I have, or tweet interaction, is a video of the ejection of Schwarber from a listener saying, this is what I imagine Rob looks like every time he talks about Angel Hernandez on air. Pretty much. Baseball. Get your house in order, man. Get your house in order. You cannot have... Joe West retired. You are down to one umpire. One umpire that I know by name. One umpire I know by name. That's the one position on a baseball field, Lonzo, that I should never know your name. You should be introduced very casually at the beginning of the game. Joe Buck should go, your umpiring crew, we got Dan Smith at first, Justin Smith at second, Dan Thomas over there at third, and Dan Smith behind the plate. And that's it. I should never hear your name again. It is a thankless job. But as Ron Swanson once said, never do a thankless job and then be upset when people don't thank you. You want to do that job, you recognize you are not out there to make a name for yourself. If you wanted to make a name for yourself, you should have been a better basketball or a better baseball player, right? You should have been a better player. Maybe you could have. Your job is not to make a name for yourself. Your job is very simple. Your job is to show up. It's to call balls and strikes. It's to get them right, and it's to go home. And I'm not saying they're going to be perfect. But Lonzo, how do you think our boss would feel if you and I had a success rate of 84% of the time we're successful doing this job? 84%.
I can't fathom that because we're 100% all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Because we nail it. Angel Hernandez had an 84% correct balls. 84%. I'm not saying you got to be 100%. I'm not saying it's got to be perfect. I'm not saying you got to nail it. But my goodness, the ones you were missing were a foot outside. The ones you were missing were a foot outside. What in the blank, Angel Hernandez? What are you doing, man? That's beyond unacceptable, pal. You can't get away with that. And the longer baseball allows him to get away with that, the longer we sit around and watch nothing happen when Angel Hernandez goes out there and plays the game or calls the game the way he called the game last night, where Joe Girardi didn't even you know how managers love to cuss and scream and kick the dirt? Joe didn't even do that. Joe had the demeanor of an upset parent, Lonzo. You know what I mean? Where he's the arms are crossed and you can tell he wants to yell, But instead of yelling, he just drops his voice down. Angel, I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. I expected better of you. You have to do better, Angel. Do you understand me, son?
Would you stop? I don't like that voice.
Yeah, you know why? That is the native, the not native. That's the universal upset parent voice.
Which is also used by someone in the office down the hall. So,
100%.
So I don't like that voice.
When you get this voice and the enunciation becomes much more clear and the words get slowed down and there are pauses between them, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. Oh, just stab me in the heart next time. And that's what Joe Girardi was. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. I'm not a baseball fan, as we all know. I know who this guy is. I should not know who this guy is.
But
but as soon as you said his name, like, okay, I know what he's talking about. Yeah,
100%.
Because it's never positive when his name is brought up.
No, listen, again, do you know what the most positive thing I can say about a Major League Baseball umpire is? I don't know who you are. That's the most positive thing I can say about an MLB umpire. I don't know. The day that I learn your name, it means something terrible has happened, right? The day I learn your name, it means you did something bad. That's just a fact. Angel Hernandez, I don't know Angel Hernandez's name. I could pick him out of a lineup because I've seen his dumb face so many times. Angel, get it right. And also, by the way, what a terrible third strike motion he has. He lifts his arm up like that and then calls the strike. I don't get it. You know what it looks like to me? He's like, hey, everybody look at me, which is exactly what he wants. Do better, Angel. And do better, Major League Baseball. Rich Eisen absolutely nailed that, didn't he? Didn't he? We have got to do better. If Major League Baseball can't stop putting Angel Hernandez on its biggest games, don't be shocked when people stop watching because it says we don't care enough about the product to do anything about it. And Rich is right. Spot on accurate. Let's take a break. Oh, by the way, real quick, I brought all that up. I found this article last Friday before we got out of the building, Lonzo. Let me tell you this is from USA Today. The headline is, and I quote, Angel Hernandez had a solid night as home plate umpire and MLB fans were genuinely stunned. You know how bad you have to be at your job when the headline is he didn't bleep it up?
Wait, that wasn't a Babylon Bee story or The Onion or something like that?
That's from USA Today.
Okay, all right.
From Andrew Joseph of USA Today, Angel Hernandez had a solid night as the home plate umpire, and MLB fans were genuinely stunned. Do you know how bad you are at your job when someone writes an article on a major news site about how you did not perform like Boat? You understand how insane that is? And then what does Angel Hernandez do? When people finally go, you had a good game. What's he do? 2 nights later, he turns around and turns in that turd of a performance. Well done, Angel. Okay, now we're back after this. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. Rob Alonso, you this is the Fan Upstate. Hello, stream. Not sure if it's Rob's concussion. I am good. Thank you for your clear and genuine concern. Oh, man. Not yet, Tayshaun, but it's coming up, fella. Yeah. That is correct. He is the worst umpire. It would have been, it was a very close contest between him and Joe West until Joe retired. And who are, of course, the only two umpires I know by first name.
The Icelandic Jazz is just excellent this morning.
It's excellent every morning. Just exceptionally good today.
It's nice and smooth. I'm sure the person in the far stall was really enjoying it. Sort of negative.
All right, we're back on.
I don't know, Tayshaun. I have a hard time believing that coaching is ever the problem in NBA. Because the NBA seems to be the most self-sufficient of the sports and is usually really appears to be coached by whatever star is on the team. I mean, there are exceptions, I guess, like when Pat Riley coached or Popovich or Phil Jackson, but that's mean, Steven. That is mean. Also kind of funny.
That actually would have been hilarious.
Yes.
That would have been really funny.
Now I need to see where I can get me one of them shirts.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Rob Lonzo and you on South Carolina's finest sports talk radio show, as long as you ask and only ask us or the South Carolina Broadcasters Association. Either one's fine.
Which is kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal.
You know, other people can downplay it and act like it's not a big deal, but it's a big deal.
I mean, it's no big deal. It's a big deal, though. Wrapping up hour number 1.
So hopefully soon it will be an expectation.
We going for another one, son. What do we got? We got about 2 weeks to get our next one turned in.
Yeah, I got started on it yesterday.
Love it.
So
love it. All right, games from last night. The Mavs get Luka Doncic back, and all he does is go 33, 13, and 5 as the Mavs knock off the Jazz and take control of that series, 3-2, in a game that wasn't particularly close. The Mavs put up 24 in the first quarter, 28 in the second. Utah hit 18 both times, so it was already a runaway at halftime. Dallas outscored Utah by 19 in the third quarter. The only quarter that Utah outscored Dallas was the fourth, and they outscored them by 1 in that one. It was just not enough. Not enough. 17 points for Rudy Gobert. Nobody else starting for the Jazz had double digits. The only other player to hit double digits for the Jazz was Jordan Clarkson with 20 off the bench. But outside of that, nothing. Here's what blows my mind. On the plus-minus stat, right? And we told you what the plus-minus stat is, right? Whatever the net score is when you're on the floor. So if you enter the floor and the score is 20-15, you are winning. You enter the floor, your plus-minus is a 0. If they score and becomes 22-17, your plus-minus is a -2, right? Because they have scored 2 more than you during their time. If you go out there and you then knock down the next 3, your plus-minus becomes +1 because it's the net points your team has versus their team for the time you're on the floor. Check out these plus-minuses. For the Jazz, Royce O'Neal had a plus-minus of 29. But that's not even the worst. Bojan Bogdanovic had a plus-minus of 37. But that's not even the worst. Donovan Mitchell, yes, that one. D-Mitch Lonzo had a plus-minus of -38. That means that when Donovan Mitchell was on the floor, a starter, by the way, when Donovan Mitchell was on the floor, the Mavs scored 38 more than the Jazz did while Donovan Mitchell was on the floor. 37 more than the Jazz did when Bogdanovic was on the floor. 29 more than the Jazz did when O'Neal was on the floor. And those are 3 starters.
All right, so this series was tied until last night, right? 3-3.
It was 2-2 last
2-2,
night, and now
yeah.
it's 3-2 Mavs.
So Luka made that much of a difference?
I mean, we had to know he would, right?
I mean, it's not just about the points that he makes. It's what he does for the rest of the team.
Sure. 11 of 22 from the floor, 3 of 10 from the arc, 8 of 12 from the stripe, but he had 13 rebounds, 5 assists, and a block to go with it. 33 points and a +32 on the plus-minus mark. No Mav in the starting lineup was below a +14 on the plus-minus. Powell was +14, 23 for Brunson, 32 for Luka, 31 for Bullock, and 29 for Finney-Smith. All on the plus side of things. But, of course, you can't talk about that without talking about the fact that Luka decided to try to posterize a kid and ended up creating a brawl between these two teams. Hey, look.
It's got a hurt leg. So, I mean.
He went up on Hassan Whiteside, tried to absolutely put that dude on a poster. Hassan wanted no part of it and let him know about it afterwards. And it's like, Luka, look, dude, I love Luka. I really do. You went up. You got stuffed. Don't come up swinging, man. I love Luka. Fake the three, drive the lane. You tried to go poster. You got stuffed by Hassan Whiteside. You got the foul call. And then everybody else started making it something that it wasn't. He got blocked. What do you want? Relax, Dallas. All right, we got 2 more games from last night we're going to break down. Plus, Lonzo, my Pelicans, tied with the Suns through 4. Do we have a chance? No, but we'll talk about it.
Did Zion play?
Why you got to be like that? 2 hours left. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Said nothing.
I was laughing at an inside joke, like in here. That's coincidence. That's all. By the way, Keegan, I wasn't being hateful. I'm just pointing out that how well the Pelicans are doing without Zion. Think of what they could do with him. That's all. So having over 1,000 emails that you need to delete, is that procrastination or is that just like a normal thing for people? I'm just curious.
Usually about 300 is where I'm like, okay, I can't take this, and I have to go on a spree.
It was so bad. I always have like 2 in my inbox where it looks like that I couldn't find. Chris found them for me yesterday. Some sort of engineering search thing. Wow, that was amazing.
This report is sponsored by Renew Energy Solutions. Everywhere you go, things are just getting more expensive. Let Renew Energy Solutions take one bill off your plate when you go solar. This month, we'll cover your power bills until 2023. Visit RENUenergysolutions.com. Smart, reliable solar.
Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show goes now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Fan Upstate. I am Rob Brown, directly across from me on the other side of the glass, both literally and metaphorically. Switching the switches, buttoning the buttons, levering the levers, and other necessary activities to keep us sounding as good as we do. He is Colonel Grudge, the professor of perfection, the content cash cow, hashtag dad kicks. He is the great one, Lonzo. What's up, buddy?
You know, on most days, I'm not concerned when you're holding that bat, but I'm a little worried today because I don't want you to. Sometimes when people are concussed, you know, their demeanor changes, everything about them changes.
Listen, here's the worst part about
and
this.
Suddenly, like, rage wells up in their eyes, and you know, and you got a bat in your hand. I know there's glass in the way, but still.
Here's the worst part about this. The lady friend is currently taking the mom and the brother to the airport to fly back home, which means they're listening, which means my mother, who, by the way, cannot stop freaking out about it because she watched me go back of the head first into a concrete stair, is now going, oh my God, is he concussed? Lonzo said he's concussed. Is he concussed? Lonzo can see him. What if I am fine.
All right.
I am fine.
I will stop. You pulled the mom card on me.
I did.
I will stop until tomorrow.
Thank you. At least wait till she goes back to Florida and can't just show up here. All right?
Oh, I think it'd be awesome if she showed up here. She wouldn't be allowed in the building, but
Anyway.
it still would be kind of cool. You can wave to her out the window.
So last night I dreamed I saw the Eagles. That was weird. It's a crazy dream. I saw the Eagles and like my little brother was there.
All right.
Was there.
All right.
What
The
a
only
weird
way
dream.
it really would have been weird is if Vince Gill was in the band.
Dude, he was.
That's
It's like a fever dream or something. I don't know how
definitely
that
a
happened.
dream. Maybe you were watching like old footage or something before
Maybe.
you
I
went to
don't know.
sleep.
I don't know, man. Just dream we saw the Eagles. It was nuts. Anyway, did see the Eagles. Fantastic time. Also fell off of a handle rail, a stair handle rail, and went back of the head first into a concrete stair. KO'd myself for about 15 seconds. I have moved here I don't know why, Lonzo. Twice in the past 2 years, I have just KO'd myself. It's a record I'm not proud of.
It's just proof you're so excited to be here. You knocked yourself out twice.
Twice.
That's like once a year, though. You might want to
genuinely averaging.
You might want to stop doing that.
Like 0.85 self KOs a year at this rate.
I think every man and woman comes to a point in their life where they realize, man, I'm old. I better stop doing that.
I ain't as good as I once was.
No country.
My, how the years gone by.
The only reason I know it's country is because the twang.
Well, I'm much too young to be this damn old. Lord, I'm much too young to be. That's Garth Brooks. First one was Toby Keith. Garth Brooks infinitely better.
What, your version of it or him actually?
Yes.
Okay.
Both. All right. Second hour of the show. Got plenty to get into. Tayshawn has asked if we have gotten into and are we going to get into the sweep of the Brooklyn Nets by the Boston Celtics. Yup. A sweep of Brooklyn. They got beat 112-116 by the Boston Celtics last night. The Celtics only used 9 men, by the way. 39 points for Kevin Durant, 20 for Kyrie Irving, not Steph Curry. Seth Curry had 23, 13 for Claxton, 10 for Dragic off the bench. Patty Mills had 5. Look, there's 15 different reasons that the 44 and 38 Brooklyn Nets are out of the playoffs. All right. Texture says, Rob, Vince Gill died 3 years ago. I saw him last night. Did I hit my head and turn into the kid from The Sixth Sense? Was Vince Gill not really there? I just saw his ghost. Pretty sure I saw him.
I was going to say, that means you're looking at me and I'm not really here either.
Am I even on the air right now? Ooh.
I don't know.
I see talented people.
By the way, I haven't seen Sixth Sense. It just didn't interest me too much.
Spoiler alert, the kid sees dead people
by the way,
and Bruce Willis is dead.
Yeah, it's Haley Joel Osment, I believe, who also was the voice of Sora for a while. Maybe, I think. So, yeah.
Doesn't matter. The secret twist is Bruce Willis was dead the whole time. Spoiler alert.
And then later on, there was that sequel that had him and a couple other people in it. And, yeah.
I didn't like The Sixth Sense, so there was no point in going back for the 7th or whatever the next sense is.
There is no way for one person to see every cult classic out there, so I'm okay with missing a couple here and there.
116-112, the Celtics knock off the Nets. And look,
did anyone think it was going to be any different than this?
I thought they'd have a win or two, a sweep.
Oh, come on! If you look at the chaotic season. And there's a reason why James Harden bailed. Why is he not getting the blame for all this? If he was there, would they not have done better?
I mean, yes. If you think that I'm not going in on James Harden hard enough, don't worry, I got more. Yes, of course, it's on Harden. Of course, it's on Harden. Yes, Texter says it was a joke, Rob. Yes, I know. I was playing along with your joke. I literally saw Vince Gill last night. All right? It was a joke. Texter says, Rob Brown, the only man I know who is trained with a pro boxer, never been in a fight, and still been KO'd twice.
That was great.
Text.
That was a really good text. It was.
That's good text. I'm not mad at it. That is accurate and a good text. I have never been KO'd by a dude. I have been KO'd by myself twice. It's pretty spectacular.
Well, that's being KO'd by a dude, unless you don't identify yourself as that. I mean,
it. In fairness, the first one I had no control over. I went to sleep standing up. I feel like I can't take heat for that. Last night, I did it to myself. Absolutely. I acknowledge that. All right. So, James Harden is going to get busted up for what he did. Again. For whining and being and moaning and complaining his way out of Brooktown. He is going to get beat up, and he deserves to get beat up for it. But if you don't think this is on Kyrie, you're wrong. And if you don't think this is on Ben Simmons, you're wrong. I don't know what to say, right?
So we can't give KD any blame at all?
Oh, no, I can.
Okay.
Because KD was garbage in these playoffs. But at the same time, I hate to tell you, KD gave you 39 last night on 13 of 31, 3 of 11 from deep, 10 of 11 from the stripe, had 7 rebounds and 9 assists. KD did what KD could do. But see, the problem is KD's game, Kevin Durant's game, relies on having guys around him to kick him the rock. When I get 20 out of Kyrie, when I get two out of Bruce Brown, and when I get 0 points out of Andre Drummond. You know what Drummond's stat line was? As a starter, 4 minutes, 0 of 0 from the floor, 0 of 0 from 3, 0 of 0 from the stripe, 1 rebound, 1 turnover, 1 foul.
Wow, I could do all that. You could too.
I had to tell you, I'm pretty sure if you asked me $1 million to go 0 of 0 in an NBA game, I could pull that off.
And I got a couple fouls in me. So yeah.
Yeah, sure. Blake Griffin came off the bench, had 0. Claxton 13. Dragic had 10 off the bench. That's it. That's all the support that Kevin Durant had.
I got to admit, I watched a good portion of this game just because I wanted to see KD lose, and I was pretty. I was pretty happy about that. Yeah.
And you did. They were just they were bad.
And immediately they lose and they blame somebody else.
Yeah, I mean they can say whatever they want, right? Like I immediately went through and checked out a lot of the post-game comments from different players. Kyrie said, quote, just disappointment and sadness, but also more importantly on the positive side is motivation. It's just burning in my heart right now. So many people wanted to see us fail at this juncture, picked us as contenders, and have so much to say at this point. I'm just using that as fuel for the summer. Okay. Now, I'm going to say this. I've said it all year. If Kyrie doesn't want to get vaccinated, that's Kyrie's call. I'm not mad at Kyrie for his belief. Okay? Have at. If Kyrie or any other athlete wants to celebrate a religious holiday that includes fasting and not eat while you're in the playoffs, I respect your belief. Have at. But you also have to accept the consequences that come with it, just like we've said about everything else. There are consequences with every decision that you make, and it is up to you to own them. Kyrie missed over 50 games for the Nets this year. Over 50 games missed. Do you think the Nets had the best chemistry they could have had coming into the season or into the postseason? No. No, of course they didn't. When you don't have a guy playing for more games than you do have him playing for, I don't care how good you are never going to be able to get it together. You just will not. I don't care if you're Durant. I don't care if you're Kyrie. If you miss out more games than you play, it's going to be really hard to build that chemistry back up. And that's what happened. Ben Simmons played the I'm going to play tonight game for weeks, could not show up for them in game 4. Now, again, no NBA team has ever come back from 3 down to win a series. So it really probably wouldn't have mattered if Ben Simmons came back. And I don't know if Ben Simmons is truly messed up or not, right? He said he's taking time for both a physical and a mental break. I don't know. I see him getting the hell beat out of him from top to bottom because he's out there warming up and there's video of him at practices coming out, whatnot. And there was a really funny picture. I don't know if you saw it, Zoe, but there was a really funny picture of Ben Simmons floating around from Game 3 of one of the Celtics, I think Jason Tatum, going up for a dunk, and all the Nets are around him, right? He's like rised up over. And then they show the bench of the Nets in the background, and they're all in their black, and they all got like their hands over their head. And then there's Ben Simmons in his bright orange and green 1990s Lisa Frank style leather outfit on the end of the bench, standing out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, orange is never the way to go. What an ugly color.
Ben Simmons has gotten the hell beat out of him because of the fact that he did not play in Game 4 when every single report was that he could and he would. And he has not. And he's taken heat. And I think it's justifiable, right? Tayshaun Ben Simmons finessed the entire Nets organization and got the bag. Yeah, he really did. He really did. Texture says Ben Simmons will never play in the NBA again. He's done. He's a clown. I got to tell you, I don't want the cat on my team anymore. I don't care how good you are, Lonzo.
So he's a clown that got paid.
He did get paid.
Yeah, he did.
So the real clown is the Brooklyn Nets, right? They made the trade for this guy and sent James Harden on his way.
Or did they make out on the deal because maybe they wanted rid of James Harden so bad that they would have took anybody?
No, again, that trade was made okay by the fact that Ben Simmons was coming to town, and we all know what Ben Simmons is capable of. Except Ben Simmons, who just loves to ride the pine because it's easier, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to jump into the cliches, right? I heard Chuck and Shaq and all these guys going, no competitive fire, man. He's got no juice. He's got no competitive desire, no drive. Look, I think a lot of times we get caught up in the intangibles, right? A lot of times we get caught up in the intangibles. Oh, you got to have juice. You got to have fire, competitive desire. Man, I got to tell you, I will work really, really hard to earn money. It's not that I'm super competitive. It's just that I want to do a good job and get paid for a thing. That's what I think Ben is. I don't know why he did or did not take a break. What I do know is that this Nets team had zero chemistry about itself. And I think it goes to show you just because you bring in a big three does not guarantee you success. I told you, the end of the super team is coming. The era of the super team is coming to its close, right? Is Phoenix a super team? No, but they've gotten it done. Is Milwaukee a super team? No, they're getting it done. The era of the super team is closing, and the Nets just stomped on the accelerator for that. And I'm happy about it. I am. Kendra Perkins on TV right now saying, if I was Kevin Durant, I would want out. Why not, right? They're going to supermax Kyrie. Who knows if Kyrie's going to be able to play next year? More than 40 games. I don't know. I get it. The era of the super team is over, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, I got plenty more to get into. We've got some college football to talk about. Got some NIL stuff to get into. Lonzo, this may shock you. It's NFL draft week. I think we should start talking about that.
I think it is shocking. As Cole and I talked about yesterday, there's not as much hype this year. You know why? Because of quarterbacks. There's only hype when they're really good quarterbacks.
That's a good point. It's a good point. We'll address it coming up on the show. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. This is the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. Keegan said, I will not respect his belief of a flat earth. Yeah, I think there's been this move over the years of, oh, well, we have to respect everybody's opinion. No, you don't. No, you don't. You can absolutely reject some person's opinion. Well, it's just my opinion. Well, it's a crap opinion. Also, people need to learn the difference between their opinion and their belief, right?
Well, I believe my opinion's right. Not over here, I don't. You can reach across the glass. He just dropped the bat in the hallway, by the way. I just didn't want to stand up to eat because of my toe, but I will. I was worried when you dropped the bat in the hallway that you might have dropped with it. But I decided I would have heard that too.
No, I went to grab the door handle and I knocked the bat out of my own hand. Have you been the casualty of grabbing my son's bike and saying, oh yeah, watch this? Which hurt worse, Rob, the fall or your pride? The fall itself didn't hurt because I hit head first and went to sleep. So that one didn't hurt. The pride hurt because my mom was there. My little brother was there. So you know I'm never going to hear the end of it from a little sibling. The girlfriend was there. The girlfriend's mom and stepdad were there. And there were like 3 cops at the base of the stairs. And they all just saw me eat it. I mean, saw me eat it hard.
I'm surprised they didn't make you take a sobriety test.
I literally had not had a drink. Like, we had left We left her house, went there, parked, got out of. I had not done anything yet except walk out of the garage. Bang. I'd had one mimosa at 10 a.m. that morning. This happened at 6:15, 6:30.
How long does Coachella go on? Apparently, there are more arrests this weekend than there were the week before. Makes it sound like it goes on multiple weeks. I'm surprised you haven't been there before.
All right, the Rob Brown Show back on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Before I get into sports, I'm going to take a minute just to be selfish. The little brother and the madre are getting to the airport right now. Wanted to say thank you guys for coming up to see the Eagles with us. We had a phenomenal time. Please be safe on your way back to Florida. And I hope that, why am I sounding like a travel agent? I hope you enjoyed your stay here in lovely Greenville, South Carolina. Love you guys. Be safe. Be careful. Talk to you when you get back to the FLA, and thanks for coming. And also, Lonzo says hi, I assume.
Don't worry, I'll take care of him, while during the show. Afterwards,
I dropped the bat in the hallway. I walked back in, and Lonzo's like, yeah, I didn't know if you dropped the bat or if you dropped.
Well,
I'm good.
There would have been a little more of an impact after the bat if you fell. And
the building would have shaken.
I don't know about that much, but I do have pretty good ears still. So, things probably, that desk would have fell over or something.
Down
if you went
goes Frazier. All right. So
just if you fall in the office, fall on your side. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to mess anything up.
There we go.
Yeah, of course. Third game from last night, Raptors 103, the 76ers 88. And
wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah, the Raptors.
I thought Toronto was done.
So did everybody else, and now they trail 3-2. I mean, they're still going to lose this series, right? They're still losing this series. At some point, Philly gets it right. Joel Embiid, 20, and led all scores for the 76ers. 20 for him, 16 for Harris, 14 for Green, 12 for Maxey, 15 for Harden, and 0 bench help. None. Nobody scored more than 3 off the bench. Starters had to do it themselves, and there's your problem, man.
Has Harden picked another team to go to now that they got beat like that?
Not yet. Where does Harden complain his way to next year, huh? 76ers lose 88-103 to the Raptors. I had to tell you, I think Joel Embiid put a little something into this Toronto team. He smack-talked them a little bit into getting hyped for the rest of this series. And they showed it last night. It was impressive. Toronto showed the guts. Pascal Siakam, who has, looked rejuvenated the last 2 games. 23 on 10 of 17 from the floor, 2 of 4 from dark, just 1 of 2 from the stripe, but added 10 boards, 7 assists, and only turned it over twice. Plus 24 in the plus-minus category. That's not bad. And again, the Raptors are interesting to me because they don't really have a bona fide superstar anymore, right? Like Kyle Lowry is gone. Van Vliet is gone. All the guys that made the Raptors a couple of seasons ago are gone. They don't have those cats anymore. Is Pascal Siakam, is that a bona fide superstar? Scotty Barnes might be. Scotty's been really, really good. He is the NBA Rookie of the Year. But is the Rookie of the Year a bona fide superstar, right? He had 12 last night. 5 of 10 from the floor, 0 of 1 from deep, 2 of 2 from the stripe. Ended up with 8 boards and 4 assists. 3 steals. Good player. But is Scotty Barnes a bona fide superstar? I don't think so. I think he's very good. I think he's very, very good. I think he's got the potential to be, but he's not there yet, and not on this team. I don't know, who's left? Gary Trent Jr., bona fide superstar? No. But I think that's what's been so much fun, and that's why this series is now interesting, Lonzo, with Philly holding on to a 3-2 lead. Toronto's 2 wins away from making a run out of the East first round. And they're doing it against a team with a few superstars, with no superstars. I told you guys earlier, I think the era of the super team is done. And the Raptors are a part of the reason why. They're doing it without the studs. They didn't go, when Lowry and Van Vliet left, they didn't go replace them with big names. They kept Siakam. They went and found a couple of good players in the draft like Scotty Barnes. And they put together a team with good chemistry. We looked at the Bucks last year. What did the Bucks do? Built around Giannis. We looked at the Suns. What did they do? Built around D. Booker and Chris Paul. The teams that are making runs lately are the teams that build good basketball teams. And I think it's underappreciated, man. I think it's underappreciated. The teams that are building good basketball teams that are not relying just on their starters are winning. They just are. The Celtics just swept. The Nets were the team of superstars. The Celtics have a superstar in Jason Tatum. Is Al Horford a star anymore? I mean, maybe you could make an argument that Marcus Smart is close.
I mean, Al Horford was a star. I mean, he's faded some, but he's a known player.
I think I don't know that I'd say he was a star. I'd say he was a very important piece to a lot of good teams. Never a full-out star. I would say Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are both the closest you've got. But the Nets with Durant, with Drummond, with Irving, with Griffin, with Simmons, they got swept by a good Boston team. That matters. That matters. Speaking of teams, part of the reason I bring that up is because, Lonzo, tonight at 10 p.m., Suns, Pelicans, in a series that is tied 2-2. Did you get a chance to watch Game 4 between the Suns and the Pelicans?
I did not.
This is a spot it's hard to talk about because you guys are going to go, you're only saying that because it's your team. I love this Pelicans team, Lonzo, because it is made up of a bunch of cast-offs and nobodies, including their superstar, Brandon Ingram, right? Ingram was sent to New Orleans as you're not valuable enough to keep around alongside Anthony Davis, so you're out. B.I. showed up for blood, but they've got a two-way player in Jose Alvarado, who was given a contract, a regular contract at the end of the year, who has been living inside of Chris Paul's head so deep he owes CP3 rent, right? Chris Paul, at the end of that game, there was a breakaway steal, and the Pelicans going up to the bucket. CP3 came over. I've always loved CP3, Lonzo. I've always thought CP3 was a guy who did it the right way, right? Team guy, unselfish guy, rather have assists than buckets, can get buckets when he needed to, seems to be a good guy off the court. Alvarado was so deep in his head that CP3 threw a JBL caliber clothesline at one of the Pelicans going up for a dunk, and got technical 1 for it with a huge discussion about whether it should be a tech 2 and an ejection. That's how deep they were into CP3's head.
If it was a true JBL clothesline, it would have been a 2 for sure.
He wound up and came. I'm convinced the only reason it wasn't is because it was from his across the body arm, right? He didn't hit him with the arm on the same side. But it was, I've never seen CP3 break like that. Never seen him break like that. And the Pelicans got in his head and broke him. And the Suns did not know what to do. Did not know what to do against the Pelicans. 118-103, they win. Now we go to game 5. This one's back in Phoenix. That Pelicans, the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans was rocking on Sunday night. I had family there. They were texting me. They're like, dude, I've been to 200 Pelicans games. This is the loudest this play. And of course it is. Listen, the Suns are still going to win this series. But Devin Booker has been ruled out for game 5. Which means the Suns are coming in without their best player. And a CP3 who has already shown that with the right amount of pressure and defense, you can break him. This one's suddenly much more interesting. I honestly thought Suns in 5. Maybe if the Pels are lucky, maybe 6. Maybe, but Suns in 5. This thing could go to 7 either direction. Could end in 6 either direction. Ladies and gentlemen, what the hell happened to the Atlanta Hawks? Lonzo, what the hell happened to the Atlanta Hawks?
I don't know.
My goodness.
Maybe they remembered there's the Atlanta Hawks.
I don't know, man. I don't know. They forgot how to play defense. They got 0 full court pressure. They cannot handle when the Heat are throwing full pressure at them. The Atlanta Hawks have just imploded, man. Listen, we all know Atlanta chokes in the playoffs, but good gosh, I didn't expect it to be in the first round, and I didn't expect it to be 4 games in. Miami leads that series 3-1, and they're back home. You can stick a fork in the Hawks. They are done tonight. Ice Trey, thanks for coming, bro. Love you. Hope you find some help for next year. And then T-Wolves and Grizzlies. That series tied at 2. That's the best series of the playoffs, and nobody's talking about it. It's either Pels Suns or T-Wolves Grizz, and nobody's talking about those. Everybody's talking about the Nets. Everybody's talking about the Nets, which is fine. Let Brooklyn keep having your attention while we get really good basketball tonight. T-Wolves Grizz at 7:30, Pels Suns at 10 p.m. Watch those 2 games. If you spend a night watching basketball in the first round, make tonight the night. I'm not worried about Hawks Heat at 7, but 7:30 T-Wolves Grizz rolling into the 10 o'clock Pels Suns. Those have both got the chance to be really good basketball games. Really good basketball games. Let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute. I got plenty more to get into. More making fun of Angel Hernandez, the worst person at his job in America. And I say that as me. Also, coming up next, an interesting NIL development. Lonzo's been saying since it started, what? Let's wait for the numbers. Let's wait for the data. Well, there's some some transfer portal data that I think you're going to find very interesting. I'll give it to you when we come back on The Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
I have to tinkle.
Tar Heels guard Caleb Love will return for his junior season. A big boost for the Tar Heels.
considered a potential second-round NBA draft pick. Download the Odyssey app and search the Fan Upstate and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders, and that's your sports flash on the Fan Upstate.
From the Ingles Market Studio. 97.7 FM Greenville.
97.1 FM Spartanburg.
And the Odyssey app.
Hey, Mike, what are you doing way up on that ladder? You're going to hurt yourself.
Oh, I'm trying to unclog these gutters.
That's smart. I had water damage from my gutters last year. It cost me $10,000.
Wait, $10,000?
Yeah, and from over here, it looks like water's been pouring over your clogged gutters, and it's probably doing real damage to your foundation. You need to do what I did. Get off the ladder and call Leaf Filter.
Yeah, but I need to get these gutters fixed now.
That's why you need to call Leaf Filter. They'll clean and realign your gutters and install their exclusive micro mesh screen system so nothing gets in your gutters except water.
So Leaf Filter protects my house from damage and means no more gutter cleaning for me.
Bingo. Plus, Leaf Filter has an industry-leading lifetime warranty, so your gutters are covered for life.
Thanks, Frank. I'm calling Leaf Filter today.
Don't go another day with your home.
Thanks, Frank.
Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to tryleaffilter.com for your free gutter inspection. Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to tryleaffilter.com right now for an extra 15% savings. Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to tryleaffilter.com. That's 1-844-300-LEAF.
So it's finally happening. We're getting salty and we're doing a live show.
It's been years, but the Rise Guys live show for Cinco de Mayo is back. It's going to be a party, man.
Yeah, and when you think of food in Greenville, I think of the king of food in Greenville. That's Rick Irwin.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. You guys are going to be there.
We're bringing all the P1s. It's going to be a P1 party like we haven't seen in a long time.
One went left, one went right.
Drinks or little cocktails. We're going to turn it into a little charitable effort. Which tie are we going to cut off? If you picked it
Like
up
the
yet,
New Jersey
one
Nets.
your wife doesn't like you wearing, maybe.
No, we're gonna go with the best.
Yeah, it's of course Cinco de Mayo is going to be May 5th at Saltwater Kitchen, Haywood Road in Greenville for a Rise Guys live show.
It's at the mall, not in the mall. It's coastal casual. It is the best seafood I've ever put in my mouth.
All right, you want to come out? They're going to have some samples. You can try, figure out what you like the best for you. Order anything, man. Got the full bar going. It's going to be a party.
And we'll be there live broadcasting from 5 until 7.
May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, Saltwater Kitchen.
This week is sponsored by Biontech and Pfizer.
You've heard the latest news, traffic, and weather, but there's something else you should hear. Consider getting a COVID-19 booster as recommended by the CDC. Brought to you by Biontech and Pfizer.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard.
I don't know if you saw, but Danhausen finally got hooked to talk. You need to watch it.
Well, we've seen him talk now a couple of times, right? Most
Yeah,
of them
but-
dark matches, but free chips. Perhaps this is where he gets his power.
Oh, it has something to do with that.
Does it?
Nothing like feeling something weird
This is
in your
last Wednesday or Friday
sweats,
show?
and then it's down by the leg part, and you find out it's a dryer sheet. Still smells nice. It's like, man, something is scratchy down there. What is going on? Also, Thunder Rosa has a podcast. It's Thunder Rosa Eats Tacos.
Who doesn't have a
And no, but she just goes to different taco restaurants and brings in different wrestlers on. And the first one was
tacos and talk?
First one was Danhausen, and then I saw one with her and Mark Henry, and it's
We need a gimmick podcast.
So Upstate Pulse's first live broadcast on YouTube last week went well. So
Good.
had 17 viewers.
Nice.
I mean, it wasn't announced or anything. Just boom, it was there. So, but thanks to you telling me about this and us doing this, the granddaughter interrupts a lot. I'm like, well, now Lisa can put it up on the TV and. I'm gonna hold off on Twitch for like a month till I see what happens with YouTube.
Rob Brown Show is back on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. No, what? The Rob Brown Show's back on the radio. This is the Fan Upstate. I did it right?
Yeah, but you went radio.
No,
so
I
was
said
doing-
your radio.
Oh, okay, all right. Just slurred speech. I'm just, concerned. I was also over here banging my head to the song and realized you can't do that right now.
Nope.
That's pretty mean.
Nope. Got about 3, stop making me laugh. Yeah, about 7 minutes into Hotel California when they get to Joe Walsh doing the little solo. I started getting ready and I did about 2 and I was like, oh, no. Nope. The old noodle is loose in the caboodle. Relax, Rob. You're 37, not 27 anymore. Certainly not 17.
Just wait till you get to 47.
Based on what happened yesterday, I got a strong feeling Darwin prevents me from making it to 47. All right?
Now, I believe
37-year-old man trying to slide down handrails at a concert and then KOing himself on the concrete. If I make it to 47, it'll be nothing short of a real-life miracle.
it was an error in judgment, and now you realize that you have some limitations, and you won't do it again.
That is correct.
There we go.
That is correct.
That's how we learn from our mistakes if we survive them.
My goodness. What a terrible decision. All right. So let's get to this. Found this article floating around. Listen, I've told you guys that with the ability to make big kid decisions come the big kid consequences, right? With the ability to make adult decisions for college football players or basketball players or whatever else, with the ability to make those decisions comes the potential for the real world consequences that follow, right? And that's basically what we have going on here. According to Tom Van Haren of ESPN, only 54% of FBS players who entered the transfer portal enrolled at a new school. 54%. He writes, in a move to provide more transparency with regard to the transfer portal, the NCAA released statistics and information for the years 2020 and 21 that shows only 54% of FBS players who enter the portal enrolled at a new school. During the 2-year period shown in the infographics provided by the NCAA, 5% of student athletes who entered the portal withdrew their name. 41% remained active in the transfer portal. The data shows an increase of more than 950 FBS players entering the portal from August of 29 to July of 2020, then from August 2020 to July of 2021. In the first year, it was 1,583, and the second year, 2,539. The NCAA says the most active months come in December and January, with 38% of the 2021 entrants coming in those 2 months. In 2020, there were 587 undergraduate students who entered the portal and enrolled at a new school, whereas there were 950 in 2021. That sharp increase has continued to rise in the 2021-22 year, and the numbers are expected to be even higher than the previous 2 years. That is the number of undergrad students who entered the portal and enrolled in a new school. Last year, it was 950 that ended up somewhere else. For the research the NCAA conducted, it showed that only 59% of scholarship FBS football players who entered their name in the transfer portal transferred to another school and received a scholarship at the next destination. Among those scholarship players who entered the portal, 33% of them still remain active in the portal, and 8% elected to transfer without athletic aid. So, the numbers you are getting here say that about a third of players who enter the portal, are still active in the portal. You get about 54% of players who enter the portal and either remain active in the portal, withdraw their name, or quit altogether. Just stop playing sports. The portal has got more people in it, but the number of people that are finding new schools is also going up. But again, 15% of scholarship FBS football players who entered their name in the transfer portal transferred to another school and received a scholarship at the next destination. So just shy of, I will acknowledge, 2 out of 3 football players entering the portal do find a new school with the scholarship attached, which of course means that just a tick over 1 out of 3 players who enter do not.
But you said 59% enter the portal, right?
No, 59% come out of the portal to a new school.
Okay, because how hard is it to recruit now? That's one of the bigger concerns about the transfer portal. How hard is it to recruit? Because if a kid comes, he doesn't play right away, he's going to jump out and go somewhere else. So how do you build a team and keep the team winning? The only way to do it, I guess, is a transfer portal. So this is nothing but free agency, and it's just, I know you get caught up in traditions, like, yeah, you're just being traditionalist. I wish it was the way it used to be. In some cases, the way it used to be was better.
Well, of course, people who want the way it used to be are going to say that, right? You know who's not going to say it? These kids in the transfer portal who have a better chance at whatever their goals are because of it.
But how would you handle it as a coach coming out of that era into this era? I know you're going to say you would embrace it, but how much more difficult would it be to do your job?
Lonzo, every time we get an email from our boss, does it not become a little bit more difficult to do our job? But what do?
Nah, he's easygoing and always, good job, fellas, that type of thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. We get pats on the backs and kudos all the time. But when we get an email that goes, here's our new protocol, here's that new thing. We had a conversation 2 weeks ago with our tech guy who told us that something was coming down the pipe that we were both like, oh, no. But what's going to happen when it gets here? What are we going to do? We're going to put our damn head down. We're going to embrace it. We're going to figure out how to jump into that and continue to utilize that decision to do what we can.
No, I agree. But there's no exact formula to fix this now. In the past, they knew the methods, they knew how to do things. Now there's no way you can look at you can vet a kid, for a year before he's eligible to come to your school, and then he still may leave a day into camp.
Maybe.
That's got to be hard.
My suggestion becomes, at that point, build a culture that kids want to stay in. And be honest with kids. Be honest with them.
Yeah, but this goes against your thing where you're saying the kids play for the coach.
Don't go against it at all. I literally just said build a culture that makes them want to come to your school, right? Forget all of this is how it used to be. You build a culture at your school that gets kid excited. I'll give you the perfect example that I love. When Oregon a few years ago switched and Phil Knight started doing all the donations, all the Nike stuff to football at Oregon. And then all of a sudden, the Oregon Ducks became a really weirdly dressed football team. And we were all like, what the hell are they wearing? But the kids love it. Do you remember what happened to the Oregon Ducks like 2 years after they built that new culture at Oregon?
They were winning.
Beat Florida State in a game in the playoffs. I think it was the first year. Beat FSU, who was a pretty good team at that point. Right? Build a culture kids want to be a part of. It used to be that kids wanted to come to be at Alabama. Now, Alabama has to be whatever kids want to come play at. Do you think there's a reason that you see Nick Saban on ESPN hauling Cooper and Eli Manning around on a tube behind a pontoon boat? No, because his kids think it's great and they want to be there and part of it. Dabo has done that at Clemson with the whole we're a family mentality that they buy into. You just have to do your own version of that. That's part of the reason I'm so damn interested in what Shane Beamer's doing at South Carolina. Not just because I want South Carolina to succeed, but I want to see if Shane builds the culture that he seems so hyped to do to the point that young kids want to be a part of it and want to stay a part of it. But I think the biggest thing of all here is you got to be honest with players now, right? You used to be able to lie to players to get them to come in. Oh, you're going to start next year, pal.
Shouldn't players be honest with you too? Hey, coach, I'm going to come in, and if you don't give me what I want, I'm out.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. If I said to a coach recruiting me, Coach, it is my goal to be a starter in the second year. And he says, well, Rob, you come on down to Florida State, son, and you're a second-year starter. Cool, that's within my goals. That's within my goals. And if I show up and I put in the work and I bust my hump and I become that caliber, and then in my second year, you bring in a 5-star freshman to play that position and you bench me, I'm out because you lied to me. Maybe it was unforeseen, but you lied to me. Build a culture and be honest to these kids and they won't go. But to the kids in the portal, with the ability to make adult decisions comes the reality of adult consequences. And you losing out on playing athletics at all is one of those consequences. Back after this for the third hour of the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
I shouldn't laugh at someone else's mistake. That was funny.
Steven, it's going well, buddy. About 7 pounds so far. I ate really good until the family got here for vacation and then just ate trash for 2 days. And then, this may shock you, have had some not so fun times after eating basically air fried chicken and salad for a week to then go like wings and Nashville hot chicken back-to-back days. Not great.
So while you're out of the room, the CBS Sports Flash played, and the dude went to a cut from Donovan Mitchell, and instead it was Donald Trump. And he's like,
I played the best basketball.
he's like,
My basketball is as well as
It was
many
ju-
people say the greatest basketball of all.
it was just enough to realize who it was. He's like,
Yeah.
and that was not Donovan Mitchell. And then he just kept going. It was pretty good. So the question is he playing his own clips, or did someone get him?
Many people say I am the greatest shooter of all time. Many people say an excellent shooter.
Could have been talking about his golf game.
Vince McMahon said I'm the greatest shooter of all time.
I just wish I could have seen the look of panic on his face.
Oh. Oh, yes. Well, I think we need to work on our team chemistry. We had some terrible chemistry. I blame the Democrats. All right, the liberal Democrats with their chemistry destroying. I blame them.
It's a very average Donald Trump impression. I acknowledge.
It's just got to be good enough for people to recognize what it is. That's all that matters.
Well, the key is the
Yeah.
key's in the hands. It's Steve Nash. He's like, I did not sign up for this crap.
I wish he would say, okay, so apparently it's my fault and I'm on the way out the door. I may never coach again. Let me tell you what the real problem is.
Oh, just write the book and get
Yeah,
out.
yeah. And then just go on. You're still Steve Nash. You're still going to be Steve Nash,
Right.
one of the best basketball players of all time.
Write the book and GTFO. I love that.
We'll be starting just a tad early.
The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the Fan Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. It is great to be back with you. Thanks again to my homeboy, my guy, all the way from Dallas, Texas yesterday, Cole Bryson, stepping in to carry the load, and I greatly appreciated him. I tuned in for a little while. Cole B still got it, talking a little basketball. How many WrestleMania questions did you fire at him, Zoe, and how many did he not have an answer for?
Oh, he did the we had a nice conversation about WrestleMania, and he's got that tone, the tone that you can hear in the afternoon right here on the Fan, by the way, when it comes to talking about wrestling fans. And he's kind of saying how it's no longer relevant in a way, and how it's, and I said, how many people were in that stadium? And
Well, they announced it at 77.
yeah, 2 nights in a row.
Yeah.
Not to mention, then they had a Raw right there, and I mean, I love Cole, but like I told him, I was like, you got it in your mind that you think wrestling is not cool, and so you can't get past it not being cool, and you're wrong. It's that many people. But it's not real. Here's what I said to him, and even the boss mentioned this to me because he heard me talking about this. I said, Cole, do you go to see a movie? Do you watch a TV show? Do you talk about those afterwards? He's like, yeah, those aren't real. Why are you talking about them? They're not real.
Listen, everything on TV is fake except for sports, and a good amount of that, it could be argued that it's fake. All right? It is what it is. I'm to the point that I'm done making the argument. It just is what it is.
Well, I like exposing some things because I feel like it could be. I'm talking about character traits. I think sometimes macho gets in the way. It gets in my way all the time. Sometimes macho gets in the way, and you can't just say, "Hey, I don't like it anymore. I think I'm more of a grown up because I'm this way," even though there are full-grown people, and we've seen them in stadiums, and I'm sure we'll continue to talk about it. Why? Because it is relevant, and it's more relevant now than it has been in a long time, because when there were no sports, there still was wrestling. And they picked up a lot of fans during that time and kept them. And thanks to AEW and the competition that we're having between the two companies, wrestling's back on the rise. So if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. Go play some shuffleboard or something.
Go play some shuffleboard. The new official insult of the Rob Brown Show. Go play some shuffleboard. Also, speaking of shuffleboard, but better. I know he told you guys yesterday, but can I just tell you the sense of shock?
No, I didn't tell this story.
Tell this part of it?
I did on Saturday because
you didn't tell it over here yesterday.
Steven was coaxing me.
Yeah.
So finally I got to it. But
so on Friday last week, Lonzo and I take the show on the road for the first time. We're over at Hall of Fame Sports Bar and Grill, and thanks to Alice and the gang at Hall of Fame for having us. And thanks to all of you guys that stopped by. We came up afterwards, and Alice, I was talking to her after we got done, and she goes, you guys had a lot of people come by for it being 9 a.m., which was great.
We did, too, and it was a steady trickle. I mean, for that time of day, it was awesome.
I'd also like to say it is pretty rad that we have found out that we are apparently the official radio talk show of delivery drivers across the upstate, because Lonzo said we were giving away fan upstate trucker hats. Lonzo said next dude with a truck that rolls up gets a trucker's hat. Well, I think it was who was it, Adam that came by first?
It was Adam. Trey came by twice.
Yeah. But anyway, guys came by in trucks.
And a trucker sent his wife to come in. Yeah.
So we had two guys come by in trucks. Then we had a third guy who sent his wife to pick up his trucker hat because he was in his truck and couldn't get there. And then when we said that on the air, we got like 10 or 12 texts from other people like, yo, I'm in my truck in Spartanburg. I'm in my truck in Boiling Springs. I'm in my truck over here listening to you. The Rob Brown Show, not only Sports Radio Talk Show of the year 2020-2021 by the South Carolina Broadcasters Association, but also the official show of delivery truck drivers across the upstate. And as I told Lonzo on Friday, I sincerely wear that as a badge of honor. The amount of delivery truck drivers that we had come in, stop by, text in, email, tweet in, and say, you guys are on in my truck. We had one guy who said, I've got the rest of my crew hooked because when I get out of my truck, I leave it on y'all's station, and the guys that drive the truck after me have now started listening to you, and they left it on your station, so the guys after them now listen to your station all the time. Got you hooked.
So again, we mentioned this Friday. I'm going to mention it again. So if you are a delivery driver or you are someone who has to share a vehicle with someone, put it on the station and leave it there. Because you will get hooked. Now back to the athletic prowess that I exhibited on my first attempt.
Lonzo said, yeah. Enough kissing up to the audience. Kiss up to me. So, we get done with the show. We get done with the schmoozing with the bosses and the powers that be. Thanks to the guys from the Triumph that came out. We had Timmy V from the hockey team came by for a little while.
By the way, apologies to the Triumph guys because he come over and talked to me, and it was good for about 3 sentences. Then I went. I
had never seen.
I trailed off, and I was looking at the ground. I realized that I did it, and I say this all the time, and people think I'm joking. It's not a bit. It just happens to me. My mind just goes blank.
Yeah.
I think it's a people of authority type thing.
I say this with all the respect in the world. I thought Lonzo was just playing. He's not. I have watched him now twice start a conversation, be perfectly fine, and then halfway through the conversation just be like, uh-huh. I'm like, all right. So, anyway, we get done with the show. We get done schmoozing with the powers that be around Hall of Fame. And we go outside because Lonzo needs to run his first game of bags of cornhole. So we go outside, and I show Lonzo the game. Here's the boards. Here's how it works. We alternate sides. We alternate throws, one after the next. I throw one, you blah, blah, blah. And we start. And Lonzo and I'm throwing okay in the warm-ups. I think the first round I stuck 1 in the hole, 3 on the board. I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Lonzo is figuring out the trajectory and how much angle and this board slides more than that board, and here's the right amount of bounce, et cetera, et cetera. So we do 3 or 4 warm-up rounds back and forth. And I go, all right, you ready to go? First 1 to 21. 3 in the hole, 1 on the board, net score for the end. You add it to your score. Once you get to 17, you got to end on 21 or you go back to 17. Got it. Yeah, I got it. Let's go. So we start the first round. I let Lonzo go first because he's the rook. What does Lonzo do? First bag, straight in the hole like he's Steph freaking Curry. My first one on the board, fine. Lonzo's second bag, what's he do? Into the hole like he's Curry. What do? Miss the board. Lonzo's third shot, what does he do? In the freaking hole. 3 in a row. I just turn and stare at him like, are you blanking kidding me right now? Are you kidding me?
So as I told this story Saturday, I knew that this was nothing but luck. It wasn't luck. I've thrown horseshoes before, so they were good throws. It wasn't like I just threw it way up in the air and it went in the hole. No, it went where I was aiming. But I just looked sidelong and just threw up a little smirk so Rob would think for just a moment that he was getting sharked. I knew he wasn't, but he didn't know that.
For those of you that have met Lonzo off the radio and have ever made him laugh, as I have like 3 times in 2 years, Lonzo has this chuckle that he does that's kind of like, and he does that after bang, 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 3 in a row. I land my third shot on the board. Lonzo's fourth bag, he lands it, and he sticks it to where the bag is now covering up the hole. So the only way for me to get one in is to knock Lonzo's fourth bag into the hole. So I just got to lay him out on the board. Dude is up like 9-0 out the gate. I'm like, I just got sharked at my own game. I just got hustled like Uncle Phil at the pool hall. Jeffrey, break out, Lucille. That's what happened to me. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
I wish I would have quit then.
Yeah, you should have been like, I think you've learned your lesson, Rob, and walked off.
And just went and got in the car and left. Yeah.
Would have been the greatest walk up because I would not have known what to do. Was that for real? Was I lucky? Like, did he just get lucky and toy with me? Or is Lonzo the world's greatest cornhole player and he knew it the whole time? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to let Rob get that head real big. I'm going to let Rob get real cocky, and then I am going to destroy him like a blank on the boards.
By the way, I just want to point out that I would have played better if people were watching. No one came out there.
Timmy V came by for a little while. Tim was out there for a minute talking to us. Anyway, for the record, Rob does win like 21-14, though.
Which is fine. I mean, again, we only played one game. If we'd have played more, I might have gotten worse. I might have gotten better.
We're not done. We will be back in Hall of Fame at some point.
Yeah, we're going to play some more. Now I understand the game, and I may get my own because it's not as dangerous as horseshoes. It's not as violent, which is a little disappointing. But, but I might get my own set and have it out in the yard and play some.
Love it. Love it. I'm here for it.
I liked the game. I had fun. The moment was worth the entire day. Now I wish I would have walked off though, because that would have been great.
The correct response there was after the fourth bag nearly drops to just pick up your keys and leave. Don't even say goodbye. Just leave. I'd have been still standing there with bags in my hand like, what the hell was that? What was that? Speaking of standing there like, what was that? My Pelicans play tonight. That's how the Suns looked after the Pels beat them in Game 4. Like, what was that? Jose Alvarado and the gang were en fuego. The Pelicans fans chanting, Jose, 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 after Alvarado. I don't know if you followed this. It is the dumbest thing that I love in basketball. Grand Theft Alvarado. All right? And here's why they're calling him that, so. Because after possessions, Jose Alvarado,
who checks in at, I don't know, I'm going to go somewhere in the neighborhood of 5'9", maybe 5'11" tops. They list him as 6 foot. I'm going to give him 5'10" because I'm a nice guy. Jose played ball at Georgia Tech, by the way. Hated him when he played at Georgia Tech because he was a pest. Now he's our pest. Jose Alvarado has taken to this new little thing, Zoe, which is after the Pelicans make a bucket or there's a real high rebound, he will retreat to the corner of the court, yeah? Like he'll run to the corner, and then Lonzo, he does this. He crouches down in the corner like a Scooby-Doo mystery come to life. And when the point guard gets the ball and turns his attention, I pushed that chair further away than I thought I did. When the point guard turns his attention up the field, Alvarado will run down the baseline until he's even with him, then turn 90 degrees and run up behind him and try to get a little poke steal away, right? And he was successful with that a couple of times, and he really only does it in clutch spots, right? Because you want the point guard to be caught up in the moment where he's not really focused on behind him, right? So he'll wait until clutch moments, and he'll go crouch down in the corner like it's hide and seek on an open field, just small profile. And he waits. Well, he did that to CP3 in games 1 and 2. Never got the ball. Game 3, CP3's doing that. He comes in. CP3 turns, catches him right before he gets the ball. And CP3 pulls the ball, and he's like, man, get the hell out of here. And, pushes him up the court. Game 4, the Pels are on a roll. They're on a 15-2 run at this point. They have taken the lead from the Suns. They must win this game. They cannot go back to Phoenix down 3-1. If they want a chance, they've got to win 4. So they're on a 15-4 run, 15-2 run. And BI throws down, I believe it was the possession, he threw down a nasty dunk. They inbound the ball to CP3. CP3 turns, and Grand Theft Alvarado strikes, tips the ball out from behind him, out across half court. It's picked up by the Pels, who bring up an extra offensive possession the other way. And CP3 looks absolutely defeated. It was just a couple of minutes later when the Suns would pull their starters and effectively raise the white flag and surrender a victory to the Pels. In that same game, late in that game, there's a cat playing for the Pels by the name of Herbert Jones. They call him Herb, from the University of Alabama. Herb Jones is a maniac. Lonzo, not 1, not 2, 3 times in the third and fourth quarter did the Suns believe they had an open look at a three-pointer, and 3 times Herb Jones came out of nowhere and blocked a shot about 9 rows deep to the point that he got one on CP3, and when CP3 came down, CP3 did this number, Zoe. You know, the universal sign of exasperation and frustration. Then CP3 got the ball, and right back into his head comes Jose Alvarado, who locks down CP3, and for the first time I think this year, CP3 gets an 8-second backcourt violation and another turnover. Dude, this team's fun to watch. They are a bunch of rookies and jerks who are just, they're not afraid. They're not afraid of anybody. Lonzo, when you got nothing to lose, when you are playing with house money and got nothing to lose, isn't it so much more fun to just go out there and let your boys be the boys? I love it. I'm having a blast.
Sounds like every day in radio for me, but yeah, for sure. I saw the steal that you're talking about. I saw it in a highlight. That was great. And the whole highlight, they were leading up to the fact that CP3 was like, "You ain't doing this to me. You ain't doing this to me."
Oh, yeah.
And then he did it
And
to him.
then he did it to
Yeah.
him. Grand Theft Alvarado. If you can stay up late tonight, stay up and watch this game. This one's interesting because we know they're coming back to New Orleans for Game 6. The Pelicans know they're coming back for Game 6. Tonight's a big game, right? If you're Phoenix and you get the win tonight, you got 2 chances left. If you're Pelicans, you got 2 chances left. But the first one's in New Orleans and the second one's in Phoenix. This is a big one for the Pelicans. This team is young. They're aggressive. They ain't afraid of a damn thing. The only problem this team has is they are young and experienced, so they're prone to panic. 2 or 3 back-to-back buckets for the Suns without an answer, and the Pels start jacking up threes because they panic mode. They got to correct that. They figure out how to fix that mentality. Willie freaking Green is your NBA Coach of the Year at this point. Does anybody want to argue? Does anybody want to argue? Didn't think so. Let's take a break. Come back here in just a minute. Got a few texts regarding that transfer portal discussion that we had a few minutes ago. I will get into that. We have got some more thoughts. I got to tell you, I'm kind of done with segments on the Lakers and the Nets. I'm kind of done with it. I don't want to do it anymore. They're done. They're bad. They're out of the playoffs. Stop. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. All right, stream. Have you progressed for whatever reason?
Why is it progression though? I mean,
well, progress doesn't necessarily mean progress. It just means you've moved from one thing to the next.
okay.
Have you moved from the handshake to the fist bump as your just like regular greeting, right? Like if I meet somebody new and they introduce themselves and I go first, I will offer a fist bump unless I'm in a professional setting.
Here's what I do. I go, hi, and I look at the ground.
That is probably not a lie.
I don't know. I think a fist bump's more intimate. I think fist bumps for your boys, for people that you've been through stuff. I think a handshake is when you first meet someone. But I am old, so maybe it's an old way of thinking. Or I'm not old. I'm just older than Rob.
Relative. Question that came up on the stream during the break. Have you guys progressed? Have you moved on from the handshake to the fist bump as the new sign of greeting? Lonzo says that the fist bump is like for the boys, for the ones for somebody you've been through some stuff with. I'm the exact opposite. I think the handshake is much more, for a lack of a better term, intimate, right? I save the handshake for if you are my boy Blue and we've been through it together, A, or B, if we are in a professional business scenario where I am being introduced to somebody whom we will have a working relationship together, you get the handshake. But if I walk into the bar and friend A goes, Rob Brown, this is my dude, friend B, and I'm like, what's up, bro? Good to meet you for the first time. You're catching a fist bump, not a handshake. If I walk up and the bartender's like, hey, Rob, what's up, dude? Same? Yeah, man. Fist bump, the huge. If I walk into my barber, if I'm going to get Aaron to cut me up a little bit, and I walk in and he's like, what's up, dude? He, because he's my boy and he's been cutting my hair for 2 years, he gets the bro 5 pull-in one-handed hug.
I was going to say the bro hug. I've seen the bro hug. I don't know when that comes into play, but I've seen it.
So if I know you and we have been boys for a minute, you get the, here's the other thing. I've also, as Lonzo, I have become much more attuned to the fact I will acknowledge I'm a hugger, right? Like I'm a hugger. I'll hug anybody. But I have become attuned to the fact that there are a lot of people out there that do not want to be hugged, right? They don't want to be hugged, and they've gone through life just dealing with it, right? I don't want to be hugged, but that's what everybody does. I'm not going to do it. So out of respect to those people, I don't go in for the auto hug unless we have hit that level, right?
Or unless there's a trophy involved.
Yeah. In which case, I make Lonzo hug me. Like yesterday, I was walking, took the mom and little brother downtown yesterday for brunch, and my little brother hadn't seen Reedy River Falls yet, so I took him to walk. And as we walked by, we bumped into Olivia, who runs PR for the Greenville Triumph. And she and a couple of the Triumph guys were walking by, and as she did, I offered her fist bump, right? And somebody was like, my little brother was like, oh, you didn't dap her up, you didn't like give her a hug? I'm like, we just met like a couple of weeks ago. We're not on that level, and I don't know if she's a hugger or not. Now, if I find out down the road she's a hugger, cool, I got no issues. But I have moved to, I'm a fist bump guy now. I've gotten rid of, the handshake is still there, but the handshake is for the people closest to me. If I have just met you, you're getting knucks, you're getting a dab, you're getting a fist bump.
See, most of the people that I meet like are people that I think who deserve a handshake, because I think a handshake is more respect and a fist bump is more familiarity. I am so happy that I pulled that word off, because for a moment I hesitated, because those are the kind of words I struggle with.
It's funny. It's funny that we're like, I'm the exact opposite. The fist bump if I don't know you, the handshake if I do, the bro hug if we're boys.
But is this an age thing? I mean, because it could be how you grew up and where you grew up at too.
I don't know, man. Maybe it is.
Maybe it is. But again, most of this for me was like this
You
transition.
know, Rob, when I was a
happened during the
kid, Give Me Five had just started.
Lonzo started the high five.
No, that's when it started. So I mean, yeah.
So you guys, that's right. You guys did the slide. The like.
Yeah, there's more. So that evolved into some of the handshakes that you see, like NBA players and guys. Like it started with that.
Yeah,
it started with that.
With the slide.
Yeah.
Now it's the grasp and then pull in bro hug. But I'm talking in the what's the look here? In the general day-to-day, when you meet somebody new, do you dap them up? Do you knuck them up? Do you handshake them? Like, have you? I've switched. I don't handshake somebody new unless I'm in a business setting. If we're at a bar and you introduce me to your boy Billy, it's gonna be, yo, Nux, what's up, dude? Good to meet you. My pleasure. Polite, but Nux, I don't know you like that. Tim Frisbee says, Rob, 37? You still have 2 years before you can play SEC football like I did. Listen,
wow.
Tim.
Wow. That's a burn that only he can give.
Yeah. Tim, I appreciate that. It's like a burn / hint of optimism, right? But here's the thing, Mr. Frisbee. I was put on the 10-day IL by a handrail yesterday, right? I didn't get popped by a middle linebacker coming across the middle. I didn't get drilled by the backside safety because my eyes were on the ball. I fell off a guardrail and went out cold for about 15 seconds. My eligibility is way done. Way gone. Way gone.
I think your fall would have been more respectful if there was a skateboard involved.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
could have played it off.
At least you could have said you were trying to hit a rail and
sick grind, bro,
and bailed. Yeah, I mean,
sweet 50-50 grind, which is a thing I know because I played Tony Hawk a long time ago. Texas says, fan, not sure when it started like the high five, but I've been a big hang 10 guy for years now.
I need to adopt that, especially with the hair.
Me throw that in.
Yeah, with the hair,
I
could get away with that with the hair.
Yeah. Most of my and by the way, Stacks, I know you were going with that, and I'm ignoring it. I throw this up in a lot of pictures. I like it. But meeting somebody, you're getting knucked up.
And see, I most of the time when I meet someone, it's a professional capacity since I'm a hermit and I hide in the compound, so I don't have to meet anybody. So a handshake, this is respect. Thank you for coming to see me at my job.
All right, let me get a couple more texts in here. Text just says, fan, they are talking about the transfer portal conversation we had a segment back. Fan, they aren't adults. They're not ready to make those decisions yet. We've taken the power out of the hands of adults that are more responsible and put it in the hands of the kids. All right, cool. Let me follow that train of thought for you, if you don't mind me, Texter. If you believe that they are not ready to make that decision, that they want to leave a school and go to another. Hey, Lonzo, here's a fun question. What's the point of recruiting?
Well, to build a winning team.
Right. But like when you're recruiting a kid, what's the point of that?
You got to go out and find out what kind of kid they are, what kind of athlete they are. It's mostly to find out what kind of person they are.
Sure. And to then have them make a decision. Right? So, if you are not a fan of them having the decision to transfer schools, are you cool with them having the decision to go to a school in the first place? You see what I'm saying? They have already made that decision once, and you're like, not a second time. They're too irresponsible for that. No. You have already said that they are decisive enough, mature enough to make the decision of where to go to school in the first place. Right? Don't hit me with that. Don't. That's a bad argument, with all due respect. It's a bad argument. Well, they're not mature enough to decide if they want to transfer. Well, they're mature enough to decide what school they want to go dedicate their next 4 years to in the first place coming out of high school. They are, if nothing else, a year older than they were when they made that decision before they made that decision.
You're leaving something out of there. For the most part, I don't know what the percentage is, but I think it's a high percentage parents are involved in that. So, and you believe that parents have the maturity to help their kid decide where to go.
I mean, it seems like a cop-out to me.
But it's rare that you just see
they don't have help when it's time to go into the portal or not.
There are some. Well, once that point, they're in school, so chances are they're not consulting their parents or anything. They're just like, okay, I'm here. I'm an adult. You know what? They're not playing me. I'm going to pull a Kyler Murray and go somewhere else.
Parents are involved in the recruit. Here's the text. Parents are involved in recruiting out of high school more than I think they are involved in the transfer decision. Oh, again, do you have anything to prove that, or is that just how you feel? Because I'm not making or changing my
decision. I wasn't looking at the text line, and that's exactly what I said.
And I
so.
agree. But who are you, with all due respect, who are you to say that, right? How do you know?
And
how
do you know it's not?
I don't. But I'm not the one trying to make decisions on it, right? I'm not the one that's trying to change a policy that's in place because, well, they're not mature enough. You let them make that decision once already. Why is it bad to let them make it a second time? And then the assumption is, well, their parents were involved the first time. I know one kid from high school that went to an FCS school that had no parents around to help him. He had his uncle around to help him, and that was it, and his friends. I didn't see a single defense of that. And then
so
says,
wait, there was an adult around to help him.
Yeah, do you think, again,
there was an adult
correct.
around.
So we're fine with the recruiting position as it stands for kids coming out of high school. But then once they go to college, they're in college, they've got a year of experience in college under their life. We're not cool with them making the exact same decision again. And the argument, the argument that was given by a texter is because their parents aren't there. It's not an argument that you can prove to be true. And B, even if it was, it's not a good argument. Sorry, kid, we've decided you're only. I have met some parents of college kids, though, who are idiots. The kid is smarter than the parent. I've seen it a lot of times. That's not an argument that works. Texas says, how is this a conversation when an 18-year-old can be recruited to the military? From Joe and Greer. I hadn't made that argument yet, but I'm happy to do it. Don't tell me that a 19 or 20-year-old kid isn't mature enough to make the decision about whether or not he wants to transfer football teams, but you're cool with a 19 or 20-year-old signing up for full-time service in the military.
See, this is such a fun argument because there's no winning on either side. There's no winning. For all the things that you say, you can't absolutely prove, and neither can I or people on my side. And until, I don't know, like we talked about before, what we need 5 years of transfer portal to this degree. And if it got more from last year to this year, what's it going to be the following year? I mean, and how much is too much? How much is out of hand to the point where you are a college recruiter, you are a college coach, and you can't keep a player for more than 1 year? And it's not just because of your program, but no program can keep a player for more than 1 year. Is it a problem then? I realize it's worst case scenario.
It is.
But as you've talked about it's not, because you've talked about the progression from 1 year to another and how more and more are doing it. So there could come a point where everyone is transferring.
Right. More and more are doing it according to the numbers, and also more and more ending up on new squads. However, I heard somebody on CBS radio this weekend on the Big Dog say, and he's not technically wrong, but he said every college basketball player is a free agent at the end of the year, right? Like every kid is a free agent, and the strategy of coaching now is going to be not only do you have to recruit the next generation of great players, but you got to keep the ones you got in the bag already and keep them around and want them to be there and to build up a little depth, right? And I think that's absolutely true. That's part of success. But don't make the argument coaches' jobs now harder, so kids shouldn't be able to transfer because it makes the coach's job harder. Sorry about your luck. What's Dabo making at Clemson right now? How many millions of dollars a year?
Is the coach's job harder? Is the coach's job harder?
Sure.
Okay.
And
all right.
My
point earlier is how do you do it from a coach's standpoint? It's a lot more difficult now than it was. And you talked about adapting, but how do you adapt to this? That's what I want to know. And there's no way to come out and say, this is what you do, because this is uncharted territory. And
I agree.
And I assumed the worst and then worked my way back. That's just how I do things.
Sure. I agree. I will always err on the side of the players. Regardless of what level we're at, I will always err on the side of being in favor of the players and then see what happens. Texture says, fan, gotta feel for the boomers who want the kids to play for their favorite team only with no benefit to the kid. Yeah,
You know that's funny. That is so funny, because right away you crack on someone's age, and it's just because they're older or anything, because they have a different opinion than you. And in the end, my opinion is not changing the transfer portal. I am concerned for the game. I am concerned for the kids, and I'm concerned for the coaches because their jobs are more difficult. There's concern all the way around. No matter what I say, it's not going to change. But can your opinion change, Rob? What would it take? At what point will you go, okay, this is a problem now?
Nothing that has happened yet.
Okay.
I don't see a problem yet.
But can you foresee that it's a possibility that it could be?
Yeah, of course. I foresee anything as a possibility. Sure. And you can keep making arguments. And you may one day hit on an argument that I go, damn, that is a problem.
By the way, I hope I'm wrong. Believe it or not, I hope I'm wrong. I hope this is awesome and everything goes forward and college football does nothing but get better. Not just football. This is going across the board on a lot of sports in college. But still, I hope that I'm wrong.
Texas says, fan, I know that there are more kids now left without a scholarship or team to play for than there were 2 years ago, and it's going to get worse, end quote. Again, yes, there are. But just like I've said, the ability to make an adult consequence comes with the reality of a potential adult consequence, right? The ability to make an adult decision comes with sorry, I screwed that up. The ability to make an adult decision comes with the necessary reality of accepting an adult consequence. And this is true for these kids, just like, hey, entering the transfer portal might bring you somewhere that helps you achieve what you want to achieve. It might also end up with you not having a scholarship. I would consider this heavily before you make a move. That is part of it. That is part of it. It's not a boomer opinion to realize that more and more kids will be left hanging without a scholarship on account of this. On balance, we don't, let me find the rest of that message. On balance, we don't think it's helping the kids. I mean, there are, what do we say? 500 some odd kids that have been left without a scholarship. There's about 1,500 on a new team that feel like this has gone well for them. I'm assuming. All right, we got to take a break. We'll come back. We may be able to fit another minute or two of this discussion in before we get Twitter on the way out the door. Rob Lonzo and you, this is the Fan Upstate.
I believe it's on Disney Plus. If it's not, I think we wanted to.
All right, let's see.
One in mind.
That movie was great and very unappreciated. I agree with Rob. It's only the problem of the school and the player. These are 18-year-olds that are old enough to be sent to war, but they aren't old enough to transfer. Some parents are absolutely stupid. We all lose, and that's why life sucks. Some of the scholarships are not used by the school because why not? I don't know. I mean, I think to me, if a kid, like I said, if a kid doesn't want to be there, right? And this is another part of it to me. If a kid doesn't want to be there, right? And you're a coach,
Why would you want him to stay? Right? Why would you want him? And not just stay, but stay only because he has no other options. It seems to me like that would be a reason you'd want a kid off the team, right? You're only here because you have no other option but to be here. That's not a kid who's going to give you their all, is it?
Yeah, I voted for Ja. I'm gonna. Specific aspects, but they do. Full history, not just Mets history. Without Jacob DeGrom, in fact, dollar done. He doesn't know he's gonna be. Wants 2 picks for a reason. In there, he would.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just
Give him the chance. I don't.
90% cheaper?
Suppose there is a possibility that it just wasn't recorded.
You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process.
Strength in the area. No word now. Waiting to get.
At 90% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra.
That could be scary. I think.
As brand name Viagra, but 90%
Both
cheaper.
those guys.
It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/radio.
It was cut off, so I can't.
forhims.com/radio for your free online visit. forhims.com/radio.
Hey, this is Don with American Made Windows. Spring is here. The trees are budding, the flowers are blooming, and if you're seeing it all through foggy, drafty, outdated windows, now is the time to upgrade your home with our beautiful, energy-efficient windows. At American Made Windows, we do expert work quickly, cleanly, and affordably. So don't wait. Visit AMW.
I love this. Micah Parsons walks out for a puck drop and just throws the puck down. It's incredible.
The best windows are American made.
So we'll come back for like 2 minutes and then hit Twitter.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
10 years ago, I started a timeshare cancellation agency by exposing the ugly truth about timeshare and giving folks straight facts. I've been fighting the timeshare giants ever since, but no one knows this industry better than me and my team. Today, we have 383 employees and have saved our clients a having of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Imagine putting those timeshare dollars back in your pocket. If you were told in a timeshare presentation that this was available today and today only, that timeshare was a great investment, or your maintenance fees will never go up, call my office now. I guarantee you, we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-613-5454. 800-613-5454. 800-613-5454.
Springfest is happening at Lowe's, where you'll find everything you need this season, like premium mulch for our new low price of $2.98 a bag. And the spring savings don't stop there. With select Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables, 4 for $10. Shop Lowe's right now for everything Springfest has to offer. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Bonnie offer in-store only. Plant size and selection varies by location. All supplies last about 4/21 to 4/27. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Starting Stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
All right, let me make one point, then we'll get Twitter and we'll get out of here. Texter says, kids don't care about loyalty. They will go with who pays the most. How many of you guys would take a job that pays less because you're loyal? Right? And I'm not talking about you've been there for 20 years. I'm talking about you are just into the game. You are going to find.
I was going to say, don't you think I've had opportunities other
Sure,
places?
but you've also been here a minute, right? I'm talking about if tomorrow you had to make a choice between 2 or 3 or 4 employers for whom you've never worked for, and one goes, I'm going to offer you
a full figure on your paycheck more than the other, you're going to go there. Oh, yeah, but this is bad because they don't get loyalty. Second part.
Depends on if
loyalty-
they have a bowling alley or you know, a DJ booth.
It wouldn't help or it wouldn't hurt you. Wouldn't hurt you. Loyalty is a two-way street, guys. Loyalty is earned, not given. I think it's this old mentality that goes, oh, you're loyal to the authority figures that are in charge. It's not. Loyalty is earned. It's earned. You want kids to be loyal? Give them a reason to. Don't just expect it because you've got the whistle and the clipboard. Don't just expect loyalty because you're the coach or it's your school or your logo. You want kids to be loyal? Give them something to be loyal about, over to, and you'll get more out of it. Stop bashing kids because they're not doing it the way we used to do it. It's not the same anymore. It's not. Get used to it. Times, they are a-changing, baby.
The Rob Brown Show presents Twitter Trending Topics.
All right, the first thing that's trending is El Muerto.
El Muerto?
El Muerto.
Like the death in Spanish?
Yes, El Muerto. I'll go ahead and tell you that there's a new Spider-Man spinoff coming up called El Muerto, starring Bad Bunny. And
as Spider-Man?
No. El Muerto is a superpowered lucha libre.
I'm in. Spider-Man versus a wrestler. Bonesaw's ready.
Yeah, which is happened before.
Let's go.
All right, the next thing that's trending, sorry, there's a lot of movie stuff, is Venom 3.
Sony put out their list of upcoming superhero movies, and there's some that I'm interested in. Why is Madam Web the first one from the Spider-Verse we're going with?
I don't know.
I suspect Venom 3 is going to be the shark jumping Venom movie. I enjoyed 2. It was a fun popcorn flip. You know what the problem I have with the Sony one is? They are wasting their greatest villains. Carnage was not nearly as badass as he should have been in that movie. You should have saved Carnage for the Spider-Man Venom team up that we're inevitably getting, unless you're bringing him back. But I don't see how you do it.
Stephen A. Smith is trending.
Because Stephen A. went freaking in on Ben Simmons this weekend. That's not why he's trending?
No. He said that he's surprised Kyrie didn't use Russia attacking Ukraine as a reason to not show up for work. And people are not happy about that.
Steven got hyped up on his own blend this weekend when he said Ben's a loser. And he's like, let me go one step further. Texter says, fan, loyalty is crap when coaches can just bail before bowl games. Yeah, that's right too. Texter says, I have more worry about NIL further ruining college sports. Tell me why. Tomorrow on the show, because we're out. That's Lonzo. I'm Rob. This was the award-winning Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. That is correct, Steven. I think I went from millennial to boomer as soon as my back and head hit the dirt. All right, dudes. Thank you guys for hanging out. We appreciate it.